broken by being here today? Tell me what law I have broken. You cannot tell me any law that I've broken. Speak to me.
The law he's broken is that protesters can't meet in groups of more than 2 under current emergency coronavirus legislation. And he was in a group of 3 protesters outside King's Cross Station. Ironically, now swamped by many more police and photographers as he was taken away.
Freedom! Freedom!
Here, others were asked to go home.
I'm asking you just to move away politely.
We're asking you to move on, and there's also a dispersal zone in at the moment.
But what if groups of 3 suddenly become 3,000? A mile or so down the road, a much larger group had gathered at Marble Arch, where there were fewer officers available to break things up. They marched down Oxford Street, which on any other year would be bustling with Christmas shoppers.
Well, this group of people clearly don't believe in the science, they don't believe in the lockdown, and they don't consider it necessary to have social distancing. Well, here comes the police.
The question now, how would the police disrupt this much larger group?
Come on, boys! Let's go! Let's go!
The rule of 2 is something they've never had to implement before. This band of a dozen officers came under attack for picking off one single protester.
Please, guys, keep moving.
So rather than kettling the group, it was a case of asking people to go home, and if they didn't, arresting them. The images of people being arrested for protesting won't sit well with the dozens of Tory backbenchers preparing to rebel against the government's post-lockdown tier system, which sees tighter rules than before lockdown. This is how the UK looked at that point in early November. Very few places in the highest Tier 3 category. And this is the situation now, almost the entire country placed in 2 and 3. One of the areas of contention is the West Midlands, where places with very different infection rates have been put under the same restrictions. In Coventry, there's nearly 200 cases per 100,000, but in Stratford-upon-Avon, it's nearly half that. Stratford is the constituency of Nadeem Zahawi, who's just been appointed to oversee the vaccine deployment. And here there's mixed feelings about being in Tier 3.
They seem to have blanketed everything, so obviously South Warwickshire has been locked in with North Warwickshire, which seems a strange decision when you think, again, the rate around here has been pretty low consistently.
You could keep on, dissecting it and cutting it up as much as you want, but I think at some point you've got to draw a line, and I think everybody seems to... I think there's a will amongst people that, let's just get through this.
None of it's fair, is it? We're in a pandemic. Viruses aren't fair either.
Trying to head off a backbench rebellion, Cabinet Office Minister Michael Gove has written in The Times saying that unless action to slow the spread of coronavirus is taken, the NHS could be broken and hospitals physically overwhelmed.
The only way of breaking transmission is actually to keep people apart. Now, one can do this if one's got a very good test, trace and isolate system. Unfortunately, the current UK system isn't fit for purpose, isn't working well. So in the absence of that, we have to have this much cruder, blunter instrument of regional-wide restrictions.
And while there's anger here at the restrictions, scientists advising the government fear that slight relaxation over Christmas will result in a rise in coronavirus transmission, and that could bring even tougher rules back in the new year. Jason Farrell, Sky News.